And welcome to another episode of the Produce Department. I am your host, Eddie Dynamite. My co host, Hefe, will be joining us shortly. And man, we got a super duper one for y'all tonight. I promise you, man. I got a man. I promise y'all can't find him. Man, be so low key. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But real, true Charleston history and just music history all together. You know what I mean? I really respect this brother. When I first met Mega Bucks, it's the first tape CD. I said, listen, I gotta have that OZOG. Listen, somebody stole my shit years ago. I gotta have my shit back. You know what I'm
Oh yeah.
saying? So man, without further ado, man, welcome to the show. OZOG, what's happening, fam?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm good, brother. Man, I'm glad for you to
Yeah,
join us. Hey, we had a little technical difficulties earlier, but so we ain't gonna even play with it. We gonna jump right in it. So
yeah, let's
just
move
off
it.
top, man. Tell me what part of Charleston you from, man, and tell me about your childhood.
All right. Well, my father, he was off Arbutus, which is on the hike, and my mother, she was raised on Jacksonville Road, which is like right there, the border of the Macon. So,
Okay.
I was right there in the middle, and well, um, they went to high school together, and he went in the service and left for a while. So I was gone up until about 10 years old. And I came back, you know what I mean? And that's when I kind of, stuck there and jumped off the porch around that bit, you know.
Okay.
But
Okay.
but yeah, I landed there and I started going to Normandy Tool, you know what I'm saying, back in the G. That's
Mhm.
where I met all most of the people that I deal with, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Uh, as far as the day ones, but yeah, and I've been gone for a while now, of course,
Mhm.
nobody can't find me or nothing, but
Right.
I'm right
So
here. I'm
so so,
not
so
dead, I'm not in jail, everything all right, you know what I'm
yes, sir.
talking
And you
about?
know that's what they'll be saying. You know
Hey,
what I'm saying?
I already got calls like, man, yo, I'm like, nah, man, it ain't me.
Hey, and I appreciate you gave the exclusive to me. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's what's
so,
up.
so the hike, the making you out in that area. So, how was that area during that time? Was it a lot of hustlers, man, or was it a lot of trapping going on? I mean, what was the scene like?
I mean, yeah, I was blind to it at the moment.
Hmm.
I saw it, but I didn't know what I was looking at. You
Right,
know what I'm saying?
right.
But it was there. I used to walk by it daily, you know
Mm,
what I'm saying? Going to find my friends and stuff, but I never had no problems like that or nothing like that. I
right,
used to see a little crazy stuff here and there, but
right.
they never mess with us. I mean, I guess my family was kind of thick around there, so they
Okay,
wasn't gonna mess with us anyway. So it was cool. I
right,
never had no problem like that,
right.
coming up young.
Did you do were you out there doing any hustling? Were you trapping, doing anything yourself, or you just you just kind of kept it? Would you play ball? I mean, what was your hobbies coming up?
I mean, I don't have that, hardcore story like, my mother smoked crack and all of that, you know what I'm saying? I
Right.
came from a decent home.
Yes,
I
sir. Yes,
mean,
sir.
we wasn't rich, but you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? We never missed no meals or nothing like
Yes,
that.
sir.
So,
Yes, sir. Yes,
you know
sir.
what I mean?
That's real. That's real.
But just coming from there, we had to kind of find, I had to like, I used to, get away from the house, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
Because it's
mhm.
like everybody watching you, don't do this, don't. So I
Right.
started venturing out, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't hustling per se at first. I was like out in the street first, and then like I started dibbling and dabbling, but I was never nothing to talk about like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Right.
was out there trying to get it. You know what I'm saying? And then it's
Right.
like at a certain point in my life, you know, uh, like it was easy for me to get it, but I
Right.
didn't want it at that point. You
Mhm,
know what I'm
mhm.
saying? So
Right.
it kind of worked out for me. You
Right.
know, I've done enough of it to know, but
Right.
that ain't my thing.
That ain't your thing, right?
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I try to stay on the right side of everything. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I gave him too much money, a little bit of time.
That's right. That's right. Oh, we
You
gonna
know.
give we gonna get into it. We gonna get into it. So
Yeah.
so so tell me what was your very first connection to music? Not writing no rhymes, not none of that type of stuff, rapping. Just when you first heard your first rap or hip hop or any type of music, you was like, man, hey,
All
this
right.
is it right here.
All right. Bear with me now.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So, come on,
when I
this your show,
now
bro.
I told you my parents was in the military, so
Right.
I was born in Germany. You
Ah,
know,
dope.
but when we came back, my mother went to Oklahoma for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
To Tulsa. That's
Mm,
and I didn't even know about that Greenwood stuff until, afterwards, but I was right there. I
right.
mean, not when it happened, but you know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
I was near
And
that
Tulsa
historic
pretty
place.
tough. Yeah, Tulsa
Oh
pretty
man.
tough.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was right before the gangs got there. Because I
Oh,
remember when the gangs arrived, in Tulsa. I was like, I don't know, 8 or 9.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? And they came in from California. It was some real deal. So, you know, you could see them from down the street. Like, you know what I'm saying? Dog wasn't playing with it. So, you know, but I was in Oklahoma and down there they have like a lot of garage bands and the Gap band was from there and uh I think Cameo was from around there somewhere, but my uncle used to play guitar and he played piano. So on Sundays, they would all get together, in somebody's garage, and they'll have them a little jam session while all the kids are outside. So when they started taking breaks, we started jumping in on their instruments, trying to mimic what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? And we started kind of catching on. That's how I learned to play by ear. I can play a piano by ear. You know what I'm saying? And that's
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 dope.
where that's where it kind of got me. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? And
Right,
after that, I was like never the same. I always like had
mhm,
a radio, or you know what I'm saying, or something like that. And
right.
and uh and I came back. I heard rap. I wasn't like. I mean, I like rap, but I didn't see myself rapping, or I didn't even try it, or was
Oh yeah.
thinking on that level.
Right,
I
right.
liked it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? But so fast forward to I was about 19,
Mm-hmm.
18, and my homeboy Face, Face off the making, one of my old dogs. He he was rapping, but I hadn't heard him at this point. You know what I'm saying? But we were friends. We had just started kicking it. So, we smoked our little weed and we went in like this laundry room, you know what I'm saying? And they turned the lights off. Somebody start beating on the washer, somebody beating on the wall, and my man started spitting that shit, man. And I was like in the dark, like with my mouth open, beating on the wall along with that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh my, I gotta do that. I gotta do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a groove. And we did it for like 30 minutes, you know what I'm saying? Straight.
Right,
Just in
right,
there beating, sweating and shit. We came out of there, man. It was, hey, man, that shit was lovely, man. I'm
right,
telling you.
right,
You
right.
know, and after that, that's when I tried to write my first rap and shit. That's when I was like, I gotta do this shit, you know what I'm
Mm,
saying? And
mm. Well, what was that like?
eh,
Writing your first rap? What was that like? I mean,
you
did
know
you have?
how it was?
Did
That
you,
shit was shitty. It was, you know what I'm saying? It was
right,
corny as hell.
right, right,
I was
right,
still trying to find myself, find my footing and shit.
mhm, right, right,
But you had to start somewhere. You know what I mean?
right. Most
So
definitely.
I was and then I just kind of became obsessed from that point. And then I had like I used to I used to make a beat No, not make a beat, but I would get an instrumental, just like Bucks, you know, 1, 2 radios, and you spitting over an instrumental. You know what I'm saying? That's how I first put my first 4 or 5 songs together. You know what I'm saying? And and then from that point, when I put those songs together, I still didn't really let a lot of people hear it. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but shortly after that, I went back on that making, and with my same homeboy Face, he introduced me to Jungle Foundation, which is Dalvy, Bolo, uh, it was Ephesian, Dario, uh, Larry. Uh, I don't think I'm missing nobody. I don't know,
So,
but
so, so not to cut you off. Who exactly was this crew? Were they rapping too? Did they have their own posse or something?
yeah. See, they had their shit together. You know what I'm saying? And
Right, right, right.
and they had this place. This dude named Trick. He used to live off of Cosgrove, and we all used to go over there. Well,
Mm-hmm.
they used to go over there, and I started, tagging along, you
Right,
know,
right.
um, kind of checking it out. And he
Mm-hmm.
had a little simple setup, a little probably 8-track mixing board, and just some little basic shit. But
Right.
we could record, so
Mm-hmm.
that's why we all were there. So and then I got to see them putting it down, and you know what I'm saying. And I'm just building momentum the whole time. You know what I'm saying. Uh, giving them my little feedback, my little 2 cents. You know what I'm saying. Not even trying to be a part of it like that. You know what I'm saying? I was just happy to be there, you know what I'm saying, to
Right,
witness it,
right.
you know what I'm saying, to see how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I didn't have a clue at that point, you
Right,
know what I mean?
right.
So yeah, so Jungle Foundation, and then God Bless Your Dad, I ran in the pick.
Mm.
Um I don't remember how exactly we got together, but anyway, he had a little spot on Ranger Drive, you know what I'm saying? Down there where Beach and Beach Boy used to live at. You know what I'm saying? They had a little side spot where
Mm-hmm.
we used to have where Pick used to have a studio.
Mm-hmm.
So I landed. I started coming around there. You know what I'm saying? And putting down stuff, and I was always hungry to rap, but
Right, right,
it's
right.
like I wasn't about it. It wasn't about me. I wasn't like a part of the crew like that. So and I'm Bogart and trying to, what I'm saying, let me do this, let me get on that, type thing. So I just played my position, wait my turn, and it's like, after like everybody get done with their stuff, then I want to try something, and everybody will be like kind of, want to take a break type of thing, or whatever, which is understandable. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's human. You know what I mean? But so I got impatient kind of, and that's when I started making my own beats. You know what I'm saying? I started poking at that thing like, all right,
Right.
I'll just make my own, you know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. Because
Mm.
or the ones that I did like were already taken by
Right,
someone else.
right, right.
So everybody owned it or whatever. So I had to just kind of, and
You
I
was the new,
started.
you was the new one coming in, man. It was hazing you.
Right.
You
I understand. I played my position.
right,
I'm low
right,
man on the totem pole.
right,
I ain't trying to run nothing. I just
right,
want to be down. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So,
right. And we all been,
um,
like you said, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. I just wanted to rap. That's above all else. I ain't care about nothing. I just wanted
Right,
to put something on some wax, on some
right.
tapes or something.
Well, you put
And
me on something new that I didn't know about you making beats.
what's that?
So what were you using at this time to make beats? What kind of machine was
My man had a DR5,
it? Mm.
man, and you know what? It's one song that I could not replicate anywhere else. I could not. The one that I love was off
Mhm.
of that DR5. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And that's gone or whatever, but
Right, right, right. Mm.
and I did end up recording that song. but
Okay, right. It
you
did
know,
sound
it was a different person on it, and you
right.
know, the beat wasn't the same, man. That man, that was like one of the, not the first, but that's the first one I did in the studio. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying? That was mine. You know what
dope.
I'm saying? And
Mhm.
man, that shit. I still get goosebumps thinking about that beat.
That's raw. That's raw.
You
That's
know what I'm
raw.
saying? For
Man.
real.
Mm. So at this
Okay.
time, did you continue making beats? Were you like, man, fuck it, I'm gonna make beats for my whole project, or were you thinking about making a project, or you were just like, man, I'm just trying to make songs or see what I could get?
It was just songs. It was just songs. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to pretty much find my rhythm. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I already had my rhyme scheme, and I kind of knew who I was at that point, but I just had to like accumulate, you know, beats and you know, so I could write to them, or you know what I'm saying, get my hooks together and shit. I was into it. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna make sure that thing was tip top. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where, and then we kind of had a little misunderstanding with that crew.
Mm.
Um,
What happened?
you know, well, um, I was kicking it with Mac. You know what I'm saying? And this guy we knew came through. He was in the studio working on something, you know, over there, and so he left the studio, and you know, he called me because, you know, because I knew him. He, you know, and he was like, "Yeah, man, you know, I don't know what's going on, but you know, he was heard something being said and something about a song that we did. You know what I mean? And you know, something to the extent of, you know, me doing something. I never got a clear answer about it. You know what I'm saying? Because after that happened, me and Mac, you know, we went there. We went to the studio. You know what I'm saying? And I went
Wait,
in there
so
and
wait, so you already knew Mac at this time,
yeah, I knew Mac.
right?
You
Okay,
know what I'm saying? But he wasn't. You know, he was doing this thing. He wasn't thinking about rapping. We was.
right.
I mean, and I think this was like, no, it wasn't then. It might have been a little bit before we lost Pooh, you
Mm.
know, Big Silk.
Hmm.
And so uh no, before that happened, Silk was already gone.
Mm.
And how me and Mac really started kicking it, he wanted to do that song for Pooh. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't have a place to do it, so he used to come where I was, which was, you know, dealing with the old crew that I was with,
Right.
you know,
Hmm.
and I was with that crew, and they had a partner. They took on a partner, right?
Hmm.
And he had a spot, a location for for the studio. You know what I'm saying? So we were operating out of there.
Right.
So, but when by Mac coming there, I started getting questions from the other guy about, you know, why you helping him, man? Are you charging him? And this
Oh,
and
right.
that. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I'm
Mhm.
like, man, this my dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right. He demanded
at
my
that point,
his partner just died. I'm trying to make a you trying to make a song for him. I'm trying to look out for my dog.
you know what I'm saying? That's just, you know,
Right. Right.
it's not like people lined up out the door to get in this thing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right. Right.
But you know that was what it was, and you know, I thought that was kind of funny, but I let that go.
Right.
And then that situation happened with the song. You know what I'm saying? It was something about uh my verse or something, man, something. I don't know. I can't even tell you. You know what I'm saying? All I know is when I put something down, I put my all into it. I
Right.
make sure it's right. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I did it. You know,
Right.
I don't know if I offended somebody or somebody felt some type of way about something. I don't know. I never got to the bottom. When I
Right.
went there, when me and Mac went there, nobody really answered. You know what I'm saying? I
Oh,
was like,
they
damn.
never
So
gave you an answer about that. He never gave you an answer.
no, you know, I rolled up and you know, I mean, we went in there. It wasn't like a beef type of.
Right.
situation, I was like, I just came to see what was going on. I was like, damn,
Mhm.
so what's up? You know what I'm saying? That,
Right.
something wrong with the song, or something like that. That's how I laid it out there. And
Mhm.
or somebody, I said, did somebody have a problem with the song we did? That's what
Right.
I said. And nobody said nothing. Everybody kind of, just moving around looking, and Mac came in, you know, typical Mac style, like, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But uh and at that point, I felt like, something wasn't right. You know what I mean?
Right.
I
Right.
can't say it was you or you or you, but something ain't right, and ain't nobody saying that.
Right.
So
Right.
so at that point, that's a matter of fact, that day, that day, we ordered our first piece of equipment for our studio. That's
Mm.
that's that's when 263 was born, that day.
Wow.
That
Wow.
day.
Wow. So you were right there with them the day one. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
When this.
telling you, man. I mean,
Mm.
when it went down, dog was like, man, look, if it's all like that, because think now, this the second time we having an issue with
Right.
a
Right.
studio spot.
With the
So he
studio.
was like, man, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. And,
Mhm.
you know, pieces started coming in. You know what I'm saying? We started getting keyboards, this, that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And after we accumulated everything in the spot, shit, the rest was history. We were locked in every day, all day. We left that bitch to wash and eat, and we was right back in it. I'm telling you.
Right.
If it was
Right.
a shower in the kitchen, we probably would have never left.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm telling
Right.
you,
Right.
because and I mean, and we'd do music all day. I mean, we'd take a break, we might watch a movie or something, or,
Mhm.
walk around or something, and we right back in there,
Right back in
working
there.
on somebody, something, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Or
Right.
just making beats, you know what I mean?
So
I
so
loved
this
it.
so at this point, like you said, 263 was born, you and Mac, you know what I'm saying? Equipment
Hmm.
coming in, so we getting our shit. Fuck these motherfuckers, we doing our own shit. Who was
Yeah.
the very so before I ask that question, did you at that point were you just making beats as a producer, or did you say, well, fuck it, now I got my own spot, I'm gonna start my own album, or did y'all acquire an artist after that? You know what I'm saying? Who was the first artist that
I
came?
mean, the click, we already knew the click, you know
Mm,
what I'm saying? Everybody like Mac knew Down and Dirty from, from I think from some school or something like that.
right,
You know what
right,
I'm saying? And we knew Bucks, I knew Bucks for a long time, you know what I'm saying?
right.
And come to find out, I think we related
Oh
somewhere
wow.
down the line, you know
That's
what I'm
dope.
saying?
That's
Off
dope.
the hike, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But and let me see, it was Down and Dirty.
OZ, this is my partner coming in, and my drummer to bring him on the
Okay,
stage.
all right.
Hef,
What's up? What's up, fellas? What's up, fellas? How y'all
I'm
doing, man?
good, man. What's happening?
yeah,
All
Hef,
right, all right.
Hef, this the legendary OZOG. OZ, this is my partner Hef right here, super producer Hef. Stay in the lab, you
Yeah,
know.
Okay,
nice
all
to
right.
meet you, man.
Ni-
Yeah.
Nice to
That's what's
meet you,
up, man.
man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
taking us through the journey, man. You know what I'm saying? So right now, like you said, y'all got but you knew Bucks. T Mac already knew Down and Dirty, and go ahead finish up.
And then let me
Hefe,
see.
turn your volume down a little bit.
We did that Bucks. Uh Trivia. I think Mac knew Trivia from, I don't know where Mac brought Trivia there. I don't know how they met.
Right.
Um and X. How did X come around? X used to come to the other spot.
Right.
You know what I'm
You know,
saying? And
X from our hood. You know what I'm saying? He's from Monk's Corner, from Berkeley.
yeah, I know, man. Come
Right.
on, I know
Yeah.
Shine, man. That's
Right.
my
Right.
dude.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Right.
my
Most
dude.
definitely. I'm trying to get a hold of him, man, because I want him to come chop it up too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. ICP in a minute, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You
So
know what
so
I'm
now y'all
saying?
so now you got to click together. do you and T Mac, do y'all have a plan like how you gonna work
I
the art?
mean, we were flying by the seat of the pants, man. You know what I'm saying? It was like
Mm,
we just decided that day to do it. I mean, it was something we kind of kicked around a little bit,
right.
before, but
Hmm.
we definitely made a move on it that day, or he did anyway. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And and slowly we got everybody, and I don't know what Baby Bone, how he came in contact with Baby Bone, but
Hmm.
Baby Bone came in, and Joe, little smoking Joe Lexus from downtown, he was messing with us for a minute. I don't know what he's doing or if he's still doing now, but yeah, and that was the crew. And originally, when we put it together, my album was supposed to come out, but the way the marketing was, and the 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 overtone that Mac had,
Right.
which was that Master P, boss, ball of shit,
Right.
which
Right.
that's what was hot, that's what was selling at the moment. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't care, just like I was telling you, it don't matter. I just want something, to happen, somebody to make it. So I would want to be a part of something,
Right.
so it wasn't a problem with me. I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? So we did that. Then Mac ended up getting tied up. You know what I'm saying? And
Well, before you going, so you going a little too quick for me. So take me back. So
okay,
so
all right.
so so on the process of Mac's album. Now you got Mac in there. You got all of y'all, all of the guys in there. You got the click. Are you making any of the beats for any of the team? You know what I'm saying? Are they getting any tracks from you?
Um, I can't remember if I made any tracks on Mac album.
Hmm.
I can't remember that far. I haven't heard it in eons.
Right. Right.
But I think he was buying beats, and I'm not sure.
Mm,
I can't remember. I know I got some verses on there. You know what I'm
right.
saying? I'm
Right.
on a couple of tracks, but I can't
Right.
remember if I made beats on it or not. You know,
What is so did you make before? What was his album was the first one that was done out of from the crew, and then it was yours. I mean, what was who had the first project? Who really was the first one? Because all of y'all, I mean, Down and Dirty, you had your joint the first time felon.
I
You had
mean,
Down and Dirty. You know what I'm saying? Bucks. You know what I mean? Y'all. To be honest, just like you just said a minute ago with that Master P blueprint, y'all pretty much
mhm,
followed that to a T because y'all had the artists, y'all dropped the units. I mean,
yeah,
who,
yeah.
so I'm saying, how did y'all handle that process with so many artists trying to balance that? You know what I'm saying? And saying, okay, you going first. We're gonna make sure you next. You got yours because it seemed
I
like to
mean,
me during that time nobody was like slept on. It seemed like all of those projects that dropped, I heard something from everybody. You know what I'm saying? We're
I
probably
mean,
with the exception of Trivia, I didn't hear an album from her. You know
right,
what I'm saying? But
right,
everybody else I did. You know.
right. Everybody, I mean, because we all helped each other with the
Right. Right.
projects. You know what I'm saying? My project was mostly done. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Because like I was trying to get it done at the other spot,
Right.
but
Right.
it didn't happen like that. So I had, I was adding songs and pulling songs, but I basically had what I needed. You know what I'm saying? I was just waiting in line. It was so it was supposed to be me first, then we changed that, and then I was supposed to go second, and then Down and Dirty, and that's as far as we planned at that point. You know what I'm saying? Whoever we knew someone would be next, but we never really made that decision at that point, or I wasn't aware of it if it was made. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, so we just was gonna promote those three across 10 states. That was the target.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And we did our own promoting. We did the leg work. Mac hired promoters in different cities a couple of times.
Right.
that did some things, but we always did the footwork with posters, t-shirts, you know what I'm saying, signing little autographs here and there, you know what I mean, everywhere we went, Myrtle Beach, Bike Week, Freaknik. Well, we tried to go to Freaknik one year and we found out that shit was in Galveston, Texas, so we was in the wrong part of the country.
Right. Most
You know what
definitely.
I mean? So, but we still had a good time in the A that weekend. You know what I'm saying? It's still promoted. You know what I mean? But shit, that was the fun stuff to me, man. Promoting and hitting
Right.
the road, jumping out. Hey man, we, you know what I'm saying? Trying to sell yourself to people and stuff, man. That was cool. You
Right.
know?
So, one thing I noticed about you, um, back in the day when I first heard your style, even though, like you said, you had T Mac with the shine and big time, and
Hmm.
you had Down and Dirty. You know what I'm saying? They had the
Hmm.
and even Bucks with a lot of more of a street, more of a gangster style. You know what I'm saying? Still with Bucks kicking some knowledge, but still just a more gangster style. But with you, to me, you were always unique. You were almost, I used to call you almost the Nas of Charleston. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're the the prolific ways, man, that you spit and the things that you was talking about during that time, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Just the politics, the police, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Just the things that's going on in the neighborhood. What pushed you to have a different sound than everybody else that was going on during that time? Because I mean, to be honest, uh nobody really kicking it like that during it. Everybody tried to keep it as
Hmm.
mainstream as possible, just like you just said,
Right.
Mr.
Right.
P. Everybody was on the gangster shit, selling
Right.
dope. You know what I'm saying? What made you want to spit different and change and have that lyrical prowess that you had?
I mean, because I when I started making music, I told myself that, you know, I want to say something. I want to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not like, don't get me wrong. Like now I learned to appreciate different music. You know, sometimes they're not so lyrical. You know, it's like a really simple song, but I like the beat. So, but at that time I was like, if you gonna put something on a beat, man, you gotta say something. You can't just, you know what I'm saying, waste that opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to try to help somebody, to instill something to make you think a little bit, the next time you see that, or if you encounter it, or just to make you aware of it. You know what I mean? Because I felt like that was missing. Nobody was talking about that. I mean, and it wasn't. I wasn't so like Chuck D-ish,
Right,
but
right.
I can say that that had something to do with it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm, mm,
I could say that. You know what I mean? Because I was all about PE. That's all we had was New York for a while. So,
right,
you know
right.
what I'm saying? Everybody was on the PE and the Nas and,
Mm,
the Boogie Down Productions and all of them
right,
boy back in the day.
hmm,
You know what I'm saying? But, well, if they're a certain age, but
right, right.
you know what I mean? But, yeah. So, yeah,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
even just looking at that cover, man, you know what I mean? You got the pigs right there interrogating you, you know what I'm saying? You
yeah,
already like taking a stance, you know what I'm saying? It's just a different
yeah,
type of cover. It wasn't like you look at like Mac joint, you got Rolexes on, got a
right, right,
Panther with a
right,
dang, you know what I'm saying, on a leash, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
right,
It was
right.
diamond shining, but you, like you said, you always had a
That was
presence.
on purpose. That was on purpose. I didn't, everybody kind of wanted to separate themselves, you
Mm,
know,
mm,
like lyrically, anybody could get on anybody's song and nobody sounds the same.
right.
Nobody's gonna come the same. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? We didn't have that problem because you
Right.
know what I'm saying? Everybody was different.
Hmm.
You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So, in the spirit of that, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't even know where my voice started dropping at like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
It's like
right.
sometimes I just get in the booth
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just close my eyes and just start going. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And before I knew it, that sound started to develop. You know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? It wasn't even something I did on purpose.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that was mine, and I loved it.
Right.
You know what I'm
Most
saying?
definitely.
And I made sure that it was commanding in a sense. So I wanted to be saying something. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? No matter whose song I'm on or what the song is about, I always try to find that angle to give you something. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just a little glimmer of hope, or you know what I'm saying, or something. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Right. Most definitely. Most definitely. That's dope. Especially like you say, especially coming from that area, and the
Hmm.
crime and stuff was getting worse and
Right,
worse. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Right. Most
How,
definitely.
how easy was it to fall into that? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Which a
Right.
majority of us did. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Some of us made it out. Some of us didn't. You
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean? It's a slippery slope. You know,
Okay.
but I don't
And
have no regrets about none of
right.
it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because that's our life. That's your
That's
experience.
what made me. You know what I'm
Yes, sir.
saying?
Yes,
I
sir.
wouldn't change a thing.
So during this time, oh, okay, everybody got the albums done.
Hold
What?
on, Donald. Hold on.
Okay,
Before you
okay,
move forward, I got a
yes, sir.
question. So,
Mhm,
as
What's
far
up?
when you spoke on like your sound and everything else like that, so
Hmm.
as far as like the beats, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys take pride in picking beats that were more mainstream, or did you take pride in picking beats that no one really heard before? Like,
mhm.
because now, hold on,
So,
Me.
before I say that, before you say
Uh-huh.
something, 1 second. Because now I know, like when I shop beats a lot, they want something. Oh, make me something that sounds like this artist
Right.
or that artist. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm
Right.
asking
Right.
for reference.
Uh,
right.
I
That's
can speak for myself. You know what I'm saying? My shit was original. I tried to make every sound and every beat myself, or I would let people work on it with me or whatever, whoever was into it. You know what I'm saying? But that was that was one of my pet peeves, man. Be original. You know
hmm
what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yep.
right,
You
right,
don't be like everybody else. We
mhm,
got 5 of them and 10 of those. Be
Right.
somebody, be
right,
yourself, man,
right,
Right.
right.
Yeah,
Facts.
but
And like Hef say, man, you got a lot of people that's doing the copycat shit now, man.
right,
They ain't
right,
trying to be original.
You know
Like
what
you
I'm
said,
right,
saying?
let me get
Right.
a beat
yeah,
like such and such. Let me get a beat like such and such. You know what I
right,
mean?
right. Why?
Right,
So you
right,
can rap just like them? You know what I'm
exactly.
Right.
saying?
Right, right,
Duh, they already patented, they getting paid for that. You need to make your own. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
right,
but
right.
For
but
sure.
so that was like day one. I was always original. Always, I never wanted, I rapped over beats and stuff before, but I
Mhm.
never wanted nobody else's nothing. I wanted to
Right,
do it myself. You know what I'm saying?
For
right,
Or
sure.
it's beats that I've heard floating around. Like, man, that's fire right there. Something, and it'd be something different. But just like you said, after a while, everything started sounding the same. It's like, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? I'm like, what are we doing here? you
right,
know?
right, right.
Exactly.
Right,
But at the same time, that was helping us because we wasn't like that. Well,
right,
not all of us, you know what I'm saying? Some of the
Right.
songs were like mainstream, but a majority of it wasn't like that,
right,
you know?
right,
All
right,
right.
right.
But
So picking up from right there during this time, like you said, everybody original, they doing their thing.
mhm.
What ultimately happens to Mac? Why does he get? How does he get jammed up in the situation that he ends up going leaving?
See, I don't even know.
Right.
We didn't know nothing about that. All we knew
Mm,
was he had to take a ride. You know what I'm
mm,
saying?
mm, mm.
That's all we knew, you know.
And was it like a sudden thing, or you knew, or he was
Nah, he knew what time it was. You know what I'm saying? We had a plan in place. You know
okay,
what I'm saying? I
right.
mean, nothing. It didn't go according to plan, but
So this was
we
the
had a
Fed,
plan in
so
place.
he had to turn himself in, so he could turn himself in. This
Yeah,
was the Feds.
right,
Okay, right.
right,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay, okay. So after
Hmm.
after he's gone, what? what what happens? Who takes? I mean, do y'all take control? I mean, how do y'all set the hierarchy up of the label after this?
I mean, they, you know, it seemed like they wanted me to do it,
Mhm.
but I wasn't interested in that. You know
Right,
what I'm saying? I
right.
didn't want to run it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't mine or nothing, so I didn't want to mess with that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But so Bucks ended up stepping up
Mm-hmm.
and in that place and taking care of things. And that shit, it rolled a little while, then the wheels fell off, and I already knew I didn't want to be, you know what I'm saying, the man holding the bag, you know what
Right,
I'm saying, like that. So,
right, right, right,
you know, but I was all in, whatever we had to do, let's do it.
right.
I'm there, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I was all in as far as everything else.
And I
But
and I even kind of jumped the gun myself because I wanted to ask you how was that tour, that Cash Money tour? You know what I'm saying? How was that situation dealing with Cash Money and when that first initial run?
uh Cash Money, man, I don't know. I didn't care for baby them like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they act a certain kind of way. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
And
right,
then we were like nobodies basically. So what I'm saying. I don't know. The arrogance just don't do it for me.
right,
You know
right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Yo,
But Juvie, that's my nigga. That's
Mm,
all
my
right,
nigga. I
all
fucks
right.
with Juvie all day long. You
Everybody
know what I'm
say that
saying?
about
everybody
Julie
say
though.
Fucking, but Lil Wayne and them boy, they was like 13 or something. They had chaperones and shit. They couldn't
mm,
even fuck with them.
oh
You know what
damn.
I'm saying? But baby and I mean, fucking but Juvie and Young Buck, they rode in the van with us. You know
Oh,
what I'm
dope shit.
saying?
That's
Hmm.
what's up.
We went out to eat that night. Where were we in Memphis? Memphis at the Adams Mark, and we went downtown. We had something to eat, stepped outside the restaurant, and everybody started recognizing Manny Fresh and Juvie and them. They start pulling up for we had a traffic jam in front of the little restaurant. You know what I'm saying? That was a cool little sight to see. You know what I mean? But and matter of fact, we went to 3 6 Mafia Studio, I think, that night.
Dope, dope.
Um, I don't even remember. They was working on something. Juvie did a song with Project Pat. I can't remember what it was. I don't want to lie,
Hmm.
but they just did that shit. And Paul came out, popped that shit in the Lex, and was banging that shit. That was the first time we heard it.
Right,
I was
right.
like, damn, you know what I'm
So,
saying?
so how was the shows? Were they big? Were they small shows? Were they big shows? What type of crowds did y'all have?
Well, we didn't have like a big show. I mean, we
Hmm.
had like showcases.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? It was more of a promotional tour
Right,
type of
right.
thing. You know what I'm saying? So we had a listener party set up in Arkansas
Hmm.
and Little Rock where we almost got into it with some motherfuckers.
Oh,
Little
oh,
Rock
And
crazy,
and
yeah.
man.
What happened out there? Hold on, don't run past that. Tell us what happened out
Hey,
there in
Little
Little
Rock
Rock.
be getting down,
Yeah, yeah,
man.
yeah.
I'm
Right,
telling you.
right.
um Little Rock. We was in some ballroom or something. They had a stage and a mic and I somehow it ended up being open mic. So it was some dude, all dressed in red, all that blood shit. And
Right.
he was up there spitting, you know what I'm saying? But his shit was like country as hell. Like, dude, you ain't ready for that yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
You
right,
got potential, but
right,
you
right,
ain't got stage and mic potential yet. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And Mac was polished, so he got up there and started spitting and throwing that thing in his face, man, and that
Mm,
was it. The next thing you know, fucking well, they didn't know that we had a tour bus, so it was like I don't know, 15 of us or something like that, and they was thinking that it was only Mac and Bucks. I forgot who was on the stage. There was only a couple of them on the stage, and the rest of us was standing on the side behind these dudes. You know what I'm saying? So they started getting all like they wanted to do something. So we raised up off the wall. You know what I'm saying? And then security came in and kicked everybody, well, kicked them out. We had rooms in the hotel, so we was good. And we went out there. The bus driver was ready to pull out on them boys and everything. He's like, they ain't coming in here. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That shit was wild,
Yeah.
man. Shit. But I don't even remember what happened after that.
Right,
But
right.
they was like swearing they was gonna come back and they was gonna ride this or that. But I don't know. I ain't had time, man. We was in Little Rock. I went to the room.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Trying to
You
get
Mhm.
trapped off out in
Talk
fucking
about what
Little
that
Rock,
what
nigga.
you
That's a
had.
long way. That's a long way from home, boy.
right.
Shit.
Right. Right.
Talk
Right,
about
Yeah.
barning out and shit, nigga.
right, right.
Oh,
You ain't want none of that shit. Right,
nah, man. You can't
right,
act up out of town, boy. Uh,
Right.
Go
right,
ahead. They got a place for you.
right.
Shit.
Where did y'all get the most reception from? What town gave y'all really the most love? The place y'all got the most love from?
Uh, shit. I don't. Nashville probably. I think Nashville. I really don't know, but because everywhere we went, it seemed like we had a little. Every place that we had been to promote, we had a little following in all of those places. So you know, I don't know what we had the most. We had a sound scan that had a readout of that. I forgot it. That was so long ago. But we didn't hit the 10 states. I think we got like 7, but we had a good enough response in those 7 that you know what I'm saying. We didn't even need the 10. Then we started looking for a distribution at that point, I think. But I don't know. I wasn't fucking with the books or none of that, so I stayed out of that shit. You know. But yeah, man, we used to go to Hialeah in Miami, down outside of Miami to pick up the artwork and the T-shirts and the CDs and shit and the tapes. We got tapes too, I think, at that time. You know, bringing it on back, serving it up, man.
Right. Bucks told us when we was chopping it up. He told us. He said, like you said, Buck said it took over whatever was going on. He said he was working the deals. He said he had got a y'all had got some traction from Def Jam South, but he said he thought that the deal
Yeah,
wasn't good. He said and he felt that you was a little upset at his decision behind that.
me?
Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
man.
Or or
No,
or,
he
or the
he
team what might have been
Def
upset.
Def Def Jam was just I I think they just wanted me or they just wanted I can't remember, but they was trying to like break it up.
All
You know
right,
what I'm
okay.
saying?
Oh,
So
right, right,
nobody was with
right.
that. I knew we wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
That might have been what he was. That might have been what he meant. He
I
might have been that
shit.
might right,
I
right,
was just happy we was about to meet Scarface because Scarface was running Def Jam South in Atlanta at that
right,
time.
right,
You
right,
know what I'm
right.
saying? And
Mm-hmm.
serving Mike Irvin out of Columbia,
Okay, okay.
fucking
Mm-hmm.
he went to school with the secretary, the new secretary at Def Jam. I think that's how we got up in there. You
Mm,
know what I'm
mm.
saying? By her being in their ear or something.
Right, right, right. So
But
did they
yeah,
have
man,
this was the beginning of the label, right, of Def Jam South, or they didn't have nobody yet? This was just the first
nah,
creation.
this was I mean they didn't have the pictures on the wall of them motherfucker yet. You know
Oh
what I'm
wow,
saying?
wow, wow,
Like
wow.
they had the name on the door or something, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, it wasn't much in there. They just Scarface just agreed to take it. They didn't have any artists. Shit, Luda wasn't even there at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they had any. They might have had an R&B motherfucker on there or something. I can't remember.
Right,
But
right,
uh, but yeah, I knew Def Jam wasn't gonna do us no justice. I wasn't mad, you
right,
know.
right, right,
But
right.
But I mean, I don't know exactly who, but I've been hearing that motherfuckers was second guessing that, and you know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm.
And you know, that's the position that entails. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right, right.
Everybody ain't gonna understand. Everybody ain't gonna listen.
And they ain't gonna
You
like
know,
what you
it's
say.
just, you know, and that's just the nature of people being together. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? You have to have a certain mindset to be able to humble yourself and say, like, I never ran up to nobody like where my money at or who owe me this or
Mm-hmm.
I ain't never say that. You know,
Right,
and I never will. You
right,
know what I mean?
right.
That shit, you know, what happened happened. I charged it to the game. I
Mm.
know money was spent. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right.
So, you know, shit, I can't, you know, what do you expect? You
Mm-hmm.
know? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I wasn't looking for nothing like that. You know, I mean, when you know everything started going sideways,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I wasn't mad or, you know, I never
What,
had
what,
no
what, what was the first?
animosity.
What was the first thing that went that the first event that happened that went sideways? You was like, but you were like, shit might this shit might fall all the way through.
When um I how did I hear that? I can't remember. But I think that was when I think when Bucks had formed Bezel Inc.
Mm, mm,
You know, I think
right.
that sent some riffs, you know, through,
Mm-hmm.
and that just ain't sit right. I like to this day, I haven't seen Mac. I haven't talked to him since he went to jail back in
What?
the G. I haven't seen him. You know, I
Mm,
haven't talked to him. You
mm,
know. And you know, I ain't mad, I ain't
right,
salty, I don't, you know, whatever. I'm right here. Ain't
right,
shit
right.
changed. I'm the same motherfucker. You know
Right.
what I'm
That's right.
talking about?
That's right.
Shit.
That's right. That's right.
So if I see him, I'll holler at him, throw it
Mhm.
up. You know, I don't know how he gonna act, but
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
But I mean,
I ain't got
day one, you was right there with them, like you said.
that's what I'm
Y'all
saying.
got the
So it
first people.
shouldn't be nothing, but I
Right.
don't know.
Right.
I haven't seen him. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I haven't talked to him or nothing. So,
Mm, mm,
you know,
right. Right. And I, I, what I told Bucks, I said that's crazy to me because the impact, not even regardless of the relationships or stuff that you might have had with 263 or the artists from y'all, you know, the personal relationships that y'all had that made a win awry. He still had an impact. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell Hef, I got Hefe on the show. Hefe's a little much younger than I am, but Hefe's here for that. He got that young perspective. You know what I'm saying? That youth,
for sure.
and listen, he be right on with it. You know what I'm saying? And I tell him, I
Right.
said, the reason why I'm doing this is to make sure that y'all created a blueprint. And ain't that I'm trying to rehash nothing or bring nothing back up, but the blueprint that y'all created was what I saw coming up. You know what I'm saying? I myself was an artist. I myself engineer, you know what I'm saying? Did my thing with
Hmm.
the music, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right,
y'all influenced me as well as other brothers that I know to do their thing, that influenced who we
right,
got out
right.
here now. You know what I'm saying?
We
Because it's
we just
always
passed the baton,
that's
man.
the
You know.
baton, right? But the blueprint that I see y'all do, I have not seen done again. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
Right,
just being real. You know what I'm
man.
saying?
That's
You know what I
hey,
mean? Charleston
hey.
Fink.
We that
You
that
know?
was that was some special shit, bro.
Yes, yes,
Trying to
yes.
tell you.
Mm-hmm.
People think I ain't saying that because I was a part of it, but just like you said, you
Right.
know, you wasn't seeing that nowhere else. You wasn't hearing that nowhere else around here. You know, around in the Low Country at all. You know, I mean, you had Pathfinders, you know what I'm saying, and they got their sound, but it didn't sound like us. You know what I'm saying? And I think the difference is what made us what we were. You know, just like I was saying, how everybody could jump on each other's songs because the rhyme schemes were different, nobody sounded the same, and it just worked. You know what I mean? And Mac was the perfect front man to run that shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So I had not that little jail shit happened, man,
Mm-hmm.
we'd probably be having a whole different conversation right
Right,
now. You know what
right,
I'm
right,
saying?
right. Most definitely. You better believe it.
You know
So,
what I'm
so,
saying?
and like you said, that's just it just blows, like I say, it just blows my mind that, for instance, not just you. I talked to Bucks, and Bucks got pretty much got the same thing. Said he don't have no relationship with him no more. He don't really speak to him anymore. But like you said, the just the machine that y'all created, man, was just so incredible, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I said,
Yeah.
even the story we told on the show when me and Hef talked to Bucks last time about how Cash Money basically copied y'all whole style with the shine and big time. You
Man,
know
they
what I'm
they
saying? The
bit
whole
Mac so hard, man. That shit wasn't
crazy.
even funny, man.
Mm, mm, that's crazy.
Baby, Mac, baby is Mac, basically. I'm trying to tell
Oh
you, his
wow.
whole.
You
I
hear
mean,
that?
and I saw
Yeah.
this man. What was that? Desperados. You remember Desperados?
Yes, sir.
You
I
know what I'm
do.
saying? That's where I first met them. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Baby was not baby when he
mm,
came to Charleston. I'm telling you, I don't know what happened when he left, but
mm.
he was a whole different motherfucker. I'm trying to tell you, bro.
Right, right.
And I saw that with my own. You know what I
Mm,
mean? I ain't
mm.
making that shit up.
Damn, damn.
But yeah,
Copy, like you
man.
said, just like we said, no originality, man. You know what I'm saying? They
Right,
seem
right.
like
Yeah, you had to come
right,
all the way here to bite my man to get
right.
on.
Like he has
And then
Crazy.
cross. He
and
want
then want to like stiff arm us and cut us off and shit, man. Come
that's
on,
crazy.
bro.
That's crazy.
You know.
Crazy.
That's
But
Because I mean,
crazy.
even with that, seemed like y'all both came up together. Even after the situation with Matt going down, seemed like y'all could at least just even reached out to them because y'all had a relationship with them. Like, yo, man,
man, listen.
you know.
Um, the coolest motherfucker out of them is Slim. Slim gave me his number. You know what I'm saying? And I tried him. You know what I'm saying? They had a show in Columbia. You know what I mean? So one Friday night, it was me, Aggie,
Hmm.
um, I can't remember. It was a couple of us in the studio. So I'm like, I'm gonna call that nigga see if he remember us. See, you know what I'm saying? Because I was, I wanted to see.
Hmm.
Because he gave me the number. Like, man, call me, man, anytime. If we in your area, man, call me. Blah blah blah.
Right.
So I hit him up. I'm like, Slim, what's up, man? This OZ.
Hmm.
You like, yo, what's up? Oh, yeah, we
Oh.
out here at the venue. When you
Mm.
get to the back door, just tell him to call me. I was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? And which we ain't never even fucking go or none of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But
right,
I
right,
was just testing them one night, you know what I'm saying? Because I knew they was in Colombia.
right,
You know what I mean? But he kept it 100. He told me
mhm,
holler, you know what I'm saying?
right, right,
So,
right. Hey,
but
that's real
I mean,
shit.
Manny Fresh is cool too, though.
Mm,
Don't get
mm.
me wrong, Manny Fresh is he like one of us. You could talk to him like that.
Right, right,
But
right.
baby, I don't mess with it. I'm cool.
Damn, mm,
I'm
damn,
cool. He
damn.
just be talking crazy, man. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you're right,
I
right,
like,
right.
man, we grown ass man,
Mm.
Carl. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Fuck you talking about? I mean, he wasn't talking to us, but I'm like,
Right,
man, if you'd have said that shit to me, I'd have had a
right,
problem with it.
right, right.
A
You
lot,
look,
not like I would have did anything or nothing, but you
mhm,
know what I'm saying? You
right,
don't
right,
talk to
right,
people like that. You
right,
know
right.
what I
Show the
mean?
man some kind of respect. Right,
Right.
right,
Even the
right,
dog is due respect, huh?
right, right. So
You know?
at this point, like you said, things going left, red or whatever. Who was the first person to say, you know what, fuck it, I'm out of here, I'm done, I'm going to do my own thing, I'm leaving the label?
Mm, I don't know that nobody ever really said it like that.
Mm, mm,
You know what
right,
I mean?
right, right,
I mean, because right to this day, I mean, we still people. Ain't nobody I know got a problem with one another.
right,
I know Mac is in his own zone. I don't know what's up with that, but I
right,
could call any of them niggas up. I think, everything's still good with us.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean? We haven't had no problems like that.
That's dope. That's dope. That's
You
dope.
know what I'm saying? But everybody went in their own, travel their own path. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, right,
Yeah.
right. So with you, man, with the music that you did, you being an engineer, what made you? Because like I said, you well, we started like when we started the interview, I said, man, you like elusive, man. You don't do no interviews. You don't really had no really social media presence. I don't really see. You know what I'm saying?
I
You
don't.
low, you
I
low.
got none. I
You
got
got
none.
nothing. So
I got none.
you got to know somebody to know. Oh, man, I got a plug. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yeah. If you don't know Bucks or
Right,
X or you know what I'm saying,
right, right.
they all got my number, and my number been the same for 15 years or something like
Oh,
that.
wow, wow,
You know what I'm saying? So if you want
right,
to find me, you know,
right. And
one of those few. Now you got my email, so you
yes,
know
sir.
you got my number. So
Yes. Oh,
shit.
yeah. I blocked. Yeah.
And how hard was it for you to get me to do that?
I
You
mean, not
know,
at all. Just
you're
ask me. I
like,
mean,
yo, you want to do that? Well, all
yes,
right,
sir.
cool, let's do it.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes.
know, I help anybody, man. That's how I've been. That's it's always been like that.
Hey, before he even knew he already said, yeah, hey, Hef. And he was like, then he said, hey, who is this?
Yeah, well, yeah. Who is this? What's your name? You know, but that's just how it is, man. I don't care. You trying to do something, dog? I'm with
Right,
you.
right,
Come
right.
on,
I
let's
thought that was
do
real. Yeah, I thought that was real dope, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, most definitely. So,
it.
like,
Yeah.
so at this point, what made you say, man, you know what? I'm just gonna disappear, lay low, go not disappear, but just step back, just do my own thing. You know what I'm saying? And just live life. What ultimately made that decision for you versus you saying because at any time, I mean, oh, you had the sauce. You could have just made the track, produced the beats, got your own studio set up. You know what I'm saying? Even did your
Man,
own.
I had everybody ready to throw bread at me, you know, to
Right,
do it, to set
right,
my own shit up.
right,
I don't know. I don't
mm,
know. Something turned me off about the whole thing. You know
right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
And I
right.
just, you know, I don't know. It wasn't the same for me.
Mm, mm-hmm,
You know what I mean? I mean, I still love music, but thinking about it in that sense,
mm-hmm.
like, you know what I'm saying? I had three sons and shit. I had a
Oh, dope.
shit going on, so you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
I ain't had time for that at that moment. You
right,
know what I'm saying? As well, I was going through my own thing, getting myself straight. You know
right,
what I mean?
right, right, right,
So, you know, I thought the best thing for me was to fade to black.
right,
You
right,
know what I
right,
mean?
right, right.
Just
Just
disappear. But
right. Raise your boys. Do what you had to do
yeah,
on the
man, you know,
side.
show my kids that they can, you know, they can be successful and take care of themselves without, you know what I'm saying, all of that rigmarole and shit,
Right,
you know.
right, right. Do
But
your sons do they any of them do any music?
all of them,
Ah,
they play
dope shit,
guitars and
dope shit.
pianos and all kinds, and not one of them had a lesson, not one of them.
What?
You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? And I be listening to my son, my
Hmm.
15. I got a 15-year-old in here. You
Hmm.
know, like 1 o'clock in the morning, I hear him on that thing just going down. You know,
Mhm.
going in on his little keyboard. You
Right,
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
right, right.
I was like, damn, he couldn't even play that shit last week. You know what I'm saying? And now you know, he got a couple songs under his belt. I'm like, they
Hmm.
got it
Mhm.
naturally though.
Right,
You
right.
know, they've been around that shit since day one. So,
Since day one. That's right.
you
That's
know what I
right.
mean?
Right, right, right,
Music is in us, in my family. You know what I mean?
right. So do you right now? I mean, what you got shaking right now? Are you dabbling back into the music? You dabbling back into the beats? I mean, what you?
Man, I got so much ammo. You
Mm,
know,
mm,
I don't write whole songs.
right, right.
You know, because of the time. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Hmm.
I don't
Hmm.
know when I might drop it, so
Right,
I got ideas, I got hooks. You
right.
know what I'm saying? I can
Mhm.
lock myself in the studio for a month, man, and come out with some shit.
Right.
You know,
Damn,
couple albums. You know.
damn.
Just
Wow.
but- because you know I don't. It's like the whole time it's still cooking. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like
right.
even when I'm working, like you know I grow now. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
I talk,
I see your babies behind you. I was about to say, I see what you got shaking.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
you know I be in here, man.
right,
I
right.
be in here just doing my thing,
Yo.
That's dope.
man.
That's dope.
You know what
No, for
Hey,
sure.
Hef, we got some dope guests, Hefe. Look at that. Look at that.
No, for
Look at that.
real.
Look
You
at that.
going
I'm
That's
crazy.
beautiful, man.
Yeah, for real.
That's dope.
Yeah,
That's dope.
man.
That's dope.
So,
That's fine.
That's dope. That's dope.
I just be down here in my little zone, man,
Right, right, right,
If I
right.
wasn't on with y'all, I had music blasting down here, just
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
at it, get
Right.
lost.
That look like heaven where
But
you at. 'Cause that'll be my favorite place to be. I'll be in there every day, every minute, right there.
hey, listen, I've been doing this for about probably almost 10 years, man. I
That's
love this shit, bro.
right, right,
I,
right,
I
right.
love this shit. I wish I'd have went to school to be an arborist or something like that.
Man,
Cause,
listen,
'cause
you look like you
this
already
is my
doing it.
shit. I
I
know.
got a dude that I just had on my I got another show called Underneath the City Lights with Eddie Dynamite, and I got a partner. He has a he doesn't have a grow house. You know, he got it's legal hemp, so you know they dealing with the THCA, all that type of shit. But he just talking some real shit. He was like, right now, before when they start getting on making everything legal, and on our side down, on our certain states, you they don't got that shit. But when they do get it right, we need to have black growers, black dispensary owners, you know what I'm saying, that's
Right,
controlling
right.
this market, because
You
they
need
got
you
to
need
build.
black commercial growers.
Yes,
Like, you got to
you are
be commercial.
commercial
That's
growers.
where
Yes,
it's
sir.
at.
Yes, sir.
You know what
Yes,
I'm saying?
sir.
Yeah, he right.
How you feel, how you feel about the 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 trajectory of where that market is going, or where that's going, and how do you feel about our, since I see that you're involved in it, how you feel about our people dwelling into that, in that side of the game?
I mean, shit, we were farming. We were forced into farming. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So
Hmm.
it's second nature to us.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? It's not as hard as people think. You
Mm.
know what I mean? It's just like, people grow tomatoes, people grow, whatever you might need. Grapes,
Right. Hmm.
strawberry, you
Hmm.
know. So, we need to get a foot in the game and not, be paying somebody else, if you know what I mean,
Right,
rather than, raking in that money. You know what
right,
I'm saying?
right. That's right. That's right.
Because, but we too small-minded, and, they want to backstab each other, and nobody can get along. Nobody can trust nobody.
Mm.
It's sad to see, because we could do so much. You
Right,
know what I'm saying? If we
right.
just stick together,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
But
That's dope.
on the same token, you got a lot of slime balls out there that's just waiting to catch you. You know
Yep,
what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
yep.
So
That's
it's a
right.
double-edged sword. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? But if we
Hmm.
could get past that, that would change the game.
Right,
You know what
right,
I'm saying?
right.
That would change the game with
Mm.
music, with every with it'll change the game. I'm telling you.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right, right.
But we still got some work to do. So
Yeah, like you
yeah,
said, a whole lot. We all got a whole lot of work, shoot.
yeah, yeah, we all got a part, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? We all got a part to play.
Yeah, man. And I'm gonna tell you, I appreciate you, man, coming through, showing us love. You know what I mean, and spending time. Like I said, I know you low key. You know what I'm saying, but you still found time, man, to come in here and chop it up with the produce department. Heifer, you got any more questions
Hey,
for
man,
all?
anytime, man. Shit.
Okay, so one question I got for you, like, what do you feel like is missing as far as just like, cause I talk to Eddie about this all the time, and I tell him like, okay, you go to Memphis, you got Dolph Camp, you got Gotti Camp. You go to Atlanta, you got Two Chains, you got, Future, you got Gucci. They got all these different labels, and they got conglomerates. When you go to Houston, they got,
Right,
Swish
right.
House, Mob Ties, all this.
Mhm.
Why don't we have a conglomerate or a hub where artists, producers, all the the people in the arts, they could go to like that person or this group, or you see what I'm saying? Why don't we have that in Charleston? What do you think is missing as far as us having that in retrospect? You feel me?
Shit.
That's some real shit.
People getting their mind right. It's
Mm.
already there. It's already there. Just
Right,
like I was just
facts.
telling you,
Facts.
if everybody will come together, You know what I'm saying? It's
Mm,
already there. You know,
mm,
it's enough knowledge and enough connections in Charleston right now
Exactly.
to
right.
make some noise, to make
Mhm,
some shit happen if
mhm,
everybody get in line. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
And you know, you gotta check the egos at the door and all the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
and
Mm-hmm.
and focus on one common goal. It can be done. It can be done. You know what I'm saying? If
Mm-hmm.
niggas get out of their way, it can be
Uh-huh.
done.
Right.
Facts.
Man, y'all know how much money around there. Y'all know.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
plenty,
saying?
plenty,
Y'all
plenty.
know.
Yep, that's
Shit.
Mm-hmm.
right.
If you
Yeah,
direct that shit in the right way and get the right heads together, boom,
yeah, right,
boom.
right,
Yeah,
You know what
right.
I'm saying? Boom.
Mhm,
for sure.
right. Because like you said, it's already there. They just got to just put it together. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, that shit we've been cultivating it for years since what we was doing, you
Mhm,
know, what the cats was doing after us, what they doing now. You
right,
can't tell me, you can't tell me that it can't happen there.
right,
You know what I'm saying? You got generations of rappers in that bitch. Come
Facts.
right,
on, cuz.
right.
Facts.
Come
Real
on,
shit.
cuz.
Real crap.
Generation.
Generations. You
You
ain't even
know
lying.
what I'm
Right,
saying? Come
right.
on, cuz.
Real shit. Real
You
shit.
know?
Real
But
shit.
until everybody get together, man, it ain't going to it's just gonna be, you know, scratching and clawing and, you know, that
Right,
crab ass shit,
right.
you know,
Exactly.
each other pulling each other down, or, you know,
Mm-hmm. Right,
motherfuckers used to try to beef with us for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
man, who got time for that?
right, right. Not at
You know,
all.
instead of us networking, getting together, y'all want to talk shit about this money, you know,
Right,
little shit like that. You
right.
know,
Mm-hmm.
So I can't even blame you. Shit, that shit probably just totally turns you off. You're like, man, I'm done with all of this shit.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. I mean, and I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm done. Like, you know,
Right.
if a nigga
But
call
I know
me,
what you
I'll
mean.
feature. You know, I'm ready now. You know what I'm saying.
Right,
But
right, right,
I just had to back up. You know what I'm
right.
saying. I just
Mhm.
had to back up, take care of my shit.
Hey,
You know what I'm
listen, like
saying.
I understand too. Me and Hef be laughing. Like some all the time. We always say, the music is a cold bitch, man. You know what I'm saying? I
I'm
said, my
trying to
people
tell you, she don't give a fuck.
don't give a fuck. Don't give a
She
fuck.
don't give a
No,
fuck, nigga.
right, right.
Trying
Because
to
I had my
tell you, boy.
thing, man. You know what I'm saying? I had to, you got to just, it's in your heart. It just come with you. So even if you
Man,
feeling some type of way, man, it's shit just something that don't leave you. You know what I mean?
it's like voodoo or something.
Yes,
You
yes,
can't
yes,
even
yes.
explain it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know where it came from,
Yeah,
but you
that's right.
cannot fight it. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
that's,
saying? You cannot fight it.
that's right. That's right.
I mean, that's how I refer to it. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
and,
saying?
and you
'Cause
ain't lying. Listen,
it's
that's
just in your soul. It just
in your
grab
soul.
you like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And
I've
they
been
said,
stuck in the studio listening to one beat for like
right,
4 hours. You know what I'm saying? Just like,
right,
oh my God, man. Just, you know,
right.
just
Locked in.
lost in that shit, man. Lost in that thing.
Hey, and
You
and,
know?
don't, and you ain't wrong for saying voodoo. Fuck what they talk about. That's our
I'm trying
shit.
to tell you, bro. I'm trying to
Man,
tell
they don't want to
Yeah.
talk about that though. You know what I'm
You know
saying?
what I mean?
You know.
Yeah.
But
That
like I
shit
said,
for
man,
real.
old man, like I said, man, I mean, I am honored, man, and we blessed to have you come to the show. You know what I mean? And like I said, you dropped plenty game. You know what I mean? And you told your story, bro, from yours, and I wanted to make sure that we wanted to make sure that you could tell your story, and they when they go back and watch this, it ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. This from his mouth. You know what I'm saying? This is what he said. This is his story. So y'all don't got to make up nothing to say that
Nah.
yeah, he
Uh-uh.
said this or this and this. You know what I'm saying? That's why we doing this for. You know what I'm saying?
Nigga,
And
that's
we
what
and
happened. Word.
and really chronicalizing a great man, bro. You know what I'm saying? And we appreciate
Mm.
what you did for us, bro. You know what I'm saying? And the legacy that y'all left. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's all about, bro. You know what I mean? And that's what we trying to.
Shit, man. I had a fucking ball doing it, bro.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
was loving that every
sir.
minute of it, man.
Yes,
But I appreciate you having me, man. You know what I'm
most
talking
definitely,
about?
most definitely. Yeah, always, always. And
You
like
know what
me
I'm
and Jeff
saying?
always do on here, man. We give you the last word, bro.
Shit, each one teach one, man. Let's do better. Let's do better.
Guys, you heard it. You heard it. You heard it. Hey. Each one teach one. Let's do better, and they can't say it no better than that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Much love, just from the produce department. We catch y'all.
So,
Peace.
all right, babe. Peace.
Peace.